Luke, we're going to start off with that Leinster win over the Ospreys. Sean Cronin was definitely the standout performer. He's kind of been the forgotten man with his injuries in recent weeks, but we know that he was actually fit to play against Wasps, and with eye-catching carries like this, why do you think Leo Cullen opted to leave him out, and why do you think he's been a bit unlucky in selection over the last few years?
Well, I think it's been, to be honest with you, I always think it's a bit of a mistake to leave Sean Cronin out of the team. I feel like with his kind of dynamism and just his carrying ability, I think you can't rule that out. Having an extra guy out there, an extra carrier who's as dynamic as him, is an unbelievable card to have in your hand. And I feel it's always a mistake to leave him out. I think it's probably a reflection of what Leinster feel, that they're very, very confident in James Tracy's ability, and obviously Richard Strauss has been there for some Heineken Cup wins. So I think they're very confident in those two guys' abilities. I thought it was a bit of an odd decision to leave him out because he was actually fit for the Cardiff game the week before, and the writing was on the wall then once he wasn't selected for that one. So I thought it was a bit of an odd decision, and obviously from the weekend he showed what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, Sean Cronin playing for Leinster A probably isn't the fairest thing. We'll see from this clip here that he has a serious set of wheels. Dan Biggar might want to look away.
Yeah, we'll play through the clip here. It's interesting enough. I think Leinster look really, really strong this year in the parts of the game that Stuart Lancaster is coaching, which is the unstructured part, because this came from a brilliant Leinster break and a kickback from the Ospreys.
3 tries against Bath from unstructured play as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They look really, really dangerous here. It's lovely hands here from Joey Carberry, and Rory Loughlin's a bit I love. Great little bit of skill. What I like about this is, once he gets this ball in his hands here, it's a great offload, by the way, from Robbie Henshaw. It was a lovely bit of play. I think they used to call that the Gidley back in the day from the Aussie Rugby League player. But what I like about this from Sean Cronin is, and people kind of get, it's a deceptive change of pace here. He actually cruises into position here. I think he's trying to connect with Joey Carberry and Jameson Gibson-Park, who are on the inside here. And I think he's trying to get ahead of, I think it's Matavesi is just ahead of Robbie Henshaw here, I think. He's trying to get into this space just in here, right? And then offload to those guys. But once he gets in there, we're going to play the clip on here. Once he gets into this space, just there, this is where you really see the change of pace from Sean, because I actually was wondering, I was like, when I saw the clip, I was like, oh, he looks like he's usually a little bit faster than that, but once he gets squares up bigger, he has no chance. The change of pace to there, it's all over. Look, it's a magic bit of play. It's an unbelievable thing to have in your team. I'd have him in every week. I think he doesn't really have a hole in his game. We look at it again, a lovely bit of play from Robbie Henshaw there, lovely deft touch. But right here, he decides to go right there. It's all over.
If I may, Biggar's belly is as yellow as Leinster's jersey. That's fairly weak defending.
But the only thing is, he's actually usually a very, very good defender. And, it was surprising enough. I think usually he's a little bit better than that. But I'd say he just got caught off guard. You don't really do much research on the opposition hooker.
Yeah, what's interesting about his role in Leinster's second try is it kind of speaks to his maybe rugby brain or his footballing ability. You might expect a guy, when he gets the ball in open field, to go straight. He runs a lovely kind of curved switch line here that punches a huge hole. Yeah,
well, look, this would have been a set play. Always when you're watching most teams, and just for any of our viewers out there, from set plays, usually the first 3 or 4 phases are usually organised. So this would have been an organised move, and it's an awful bit of defence. We're going to highlight Matavesi here. He kind of shoots out of the line here, and he makes a bit of a hames of this. Leinster get really easy go forward here, and I'm just going to pause it just at this point here. Oh, sorry, I'm going to try and pause it there. Leinster wouldn't have been expecting to break through, because if you look at the move, it's a simple skip pass. It's a really easy one to defend. I don't know what Matavesi's doing there. Really, really poor defence. But Leinster this is the kind of situation where it can actually work against you, because there's loads of spaces open as a result of Leinster making the break. And what it means is, Ospreys, if they were more organised, which Leinster would have anticipated with the simple start move, and the guys from the Ospreys are starting to panic and have to try and fill in spaces. If you look at Jameson Gibson-Park here, what his job here is to run across the pitch. And what he's doing, I'm going to highlight Rhys Ruddock here. Rhys Ruddock is going to run straight on a line. Oh, not as that was a bit off there. He's going to run straight into this space here. And what he's going to try and do is they're going to set it like they're going to the right-hand side. And as you can see here, I'm going to get rid of all that. Our man, Sean Cronin here, he's actually trying to show on the outside and then come back on the inside.
And that's a very nice line, because he is in a bit of traffic there, but he cuts back really well against the grain.
Yeah, well, if he stays on the as long as he does on the outside here, it gives him loads of time to sell it on the outside and then come back hard. And if you look at this, even though the Ospreys have extra numbers coming through there, Sean Cronin's power, he breaks 1 or 2 tackles in this spot here. Leinster end up making the break. It's really, really hard for them to contain Leinster in that situation. Now, they almost got lucky with the break on the first phase, because Leinster wouldn't have been anticipating that. But it was a great change of pace, and we look over here, great finish from Dan Levy, who's playing some super rugby as well. Leinster are in a really good spot at the moment. Sean Cronin, I think, is a guy they'll have to select if they want to beat Claremont away.
Yeah, I have a tweet in from Cormac saying, maybe the Lions hooker spot, there's no one really nailed on. Is there a chance that Cronin, albeit he's only just come back from injury, could maybe force his way into the squad?
Well, we said this before Six Nations, before he got injured. Myself and yourself, Will, thought he might be a good guy to bring on the tour.
Ronan O'Gara agrees.
Ronan O'Gara just said it there as well on the weekend. Look, I just think he's something extra to have on the bench. If you need a result, I think where Ireland really missed him, and it's no disrespect to Scannell, is that Welsh game. We needed someone off the bench to get us back in the game. I think Sean Cronin is a key component in that. I think he's a great. It'd be a mistake not to consider him at the very least, because he's so dynamic. He's 50 caps for Ireland. He's done it at the highest level, and he's done well against New Zealand a few times as well. I remember making a few breaks in a very tough match where Ireland were losing badly towards the end of a game that almost got us back in it. So I think he'd be a great guy to bring on the tour.